Today we're going to be talking about the properties of addition. You can find this in lessons 1 through 4. This is appropriate for grade levels 3rd through 5th grade. There are 3 properties of addition: commutative, associative, and identity. The first one we're going to talk about is commutative. The commutative property. Let's talk about the background. The word commutative comes from the verb to commute. I tried to pull up the definition a while ago and it wouldn't let me. Let's see if it does now. I don't think it's going to let me. But the definition, commuting, means changing, replacing, or exchanging. People who travel back and forth to work are called commuters. Traffic reports given during rush hours are also called commuter reports. Here are 2 families of commuters. There's commuter A, commuter B. Commuter A and commuter B changed lanes. Remember, commute means to change. Here is another example. Think of this hypothetical situation. Every day you ride your bike to school. The distance from home to school is 2 miles. The distance from school to home is also 2 miles. How do we know this? Did you notice that the hypothetical, for some reason I cannot say that word, and hypothesis look almost the same? Think about what hypothesis means. The distance from home to school is the same as the distance from school to home. Home plus school equals school plus home. H plus S equals S plus H. A plus B equals B plus A, which is the formula of the commutative property. And there's another. The next property we're going to talk about is associative. The background of the associative property. The word associative comes from the verb to associate. Like I said, I can't pull the dictionary up. For some reason it won't let me. But the definition associate means connected, joined, or related. People who work together are called associates. They are joined together by business, and they do talk to one another. Let's look at another hypothetical situation. 3 people work together. Associate B needs to call associates A and C to share some news. Does it matter who he calls first? Here are 3 associates. There's A, there's B, and there's C. B calls A first. Then B calls C last. If he called C first, then called A, would it have made a difference? No. The role of parentheses. In math, we use parentheses to show groups. In order of operations, the numbers and operations in parentheses are done first. PEMDAS is another way to remember that. So, the associative property. The parentheses identify which 2 associates talked first. So there you have A and B, and then C, and then equals A plus B plus C. The parentheses identify which 2 associates talked first. So these 2 associates talked before these 2. And And the last property of addition is identity. The identity property of addition. I'm me. You cannot change my identity. 0 is the only number you can add to something and see no change. A plus 0 equals A. Let's practice. Look at the problem, identify which property it represents. Which property would you all think this represents? Associative? The associative property of addition. It is the only addition property that has parentheses. Obviously, this one's going to be the identity. The identity property of addition. It is the only addition property that has 2 add-ins and one of them is a 0. So these are good ways to remember what they are. And last but not least, commutative. This is the commutative property of addition. It is the only addition property that has numbers that change places. The commutative property of addition. Numbers change places. Identity. See the 0? That's how you know that is the identity property of addition. And this one's going to be associative property. A good way to remember the associative property is it has parentheses, the identity has a 0, and the commutative changes places. And once again, this one's going to be identity. And this one is going to be commutative. Moving numbers. Changing lanes, in other words. And this one's going to be the associative, because it has parentheses. And that's all I have.